welcome to another chapters readings of my debut novel, Eva's Promise. I'm going to be reading chapters 4 and 26 this time, which are from Eva's point of view in the story. But first I'm going to read the blurb on the back again, just so others know what the story is about. She prayed their marriage would survive. Wedding bells rang 7 years ago, then tragedy struck. 33-year-old Eva Rose Lucas has the perfect home, a good husband, and an endearing little boy, but her married life quickly changes when her husband Andre gets into a terrible car accident and suffers a severe brain injury. Now her once hardworking, self-reliant husband is a disabled, touchy handicap who doesn't remember her and cannot move his limbs. Stress and resentment build upon Eva's shoulders as she helps take care of her husband, their son, and her students at Sunrise Christian Daycare. Her family's finances shrink. The emotional strain becomes too much, and Eva prays for a miracle. Months pass, but Andre makes little improvement, and after attending her class reunion for a chance break, her old high school crush, Caleb Williams, challenges her love and commitment to God and her husband. Will Eva remain faithful toward them, or will she forsake her most precious vows? And that is the blurb on the back of the novel. And I'm just going to be reading chapter 4 now. Chapter 4, Eva. For 30 minutes, Eva waited for her husband, sitting at the reserved two-seat table. She grinned as a tall man of cinnamon brown complexion and a dark-colored suit entered the golden revolving door with a black umbrella. Her heart leaped. Andre? She craned her neck above the artificial potted plants on the shelf for a better look. When the man closed his wet umbrella and sat at the table with another woman, her smile faded. Awaiting his arrival was becoming more unbearable. She frowned and lowered herself into her chair. Where could he be? Andre was late many times, but he was never this late. He should have come by now with his surprise gift. But at the restaurant, he wasn't anywhere. Though it was raining, the Red Fish Grill was a 5-minute drive from the clinic. She couldn't think of what's more important now than celebrating their anniversary. They had endured a lot together, especially during the birth of their son. Eva thought she'd die, that she'd never get to hold the baby she carried for 9 months. With every shallow breath behind her oxygen mask, her fear was intense, but she felt Mrs. Flower's prayers from the waiting room. Because Andrew was born healthy and she lived for another day, an angel must have watched over them that afternoon. Hearing Andrew's piercing, tiny cry for the first time brought tears to her eyes and a sigh of relief. Since then it mattered little to Andre if they had another baby. He was just grateful she and their son survived the delivery. Eva pulled her iPhone out of her clutch purse and pressed the side button, lighting up her touchscreen. She glanced at the time displayed in big, white, skinny numbers, 7:20 p.m. She willed herself to keep calm as Stefano approached her table in his stylish uniform, a white dress shirt, a black bow tie, a gold vest, black pants, and polished dress shoes. Mrs. Lucas, are you ready to order? He asked. Eva sniffled and picked up her Red Fish Grill menu, her vision blurred with angry tears, staring at the restaurant slogan above the red rockfish logo, elegant seafood at its best. I guess I should. There's no telling when my husband will come. Stefano sighed. I'm sorry he hasn't showed again. I know this meant a lot to you. But you mustn't doubt yourself. Andre loves you a great deal. You must believe that. He shrugged. He probably got caught in the storm. I'm sure he intended to be here. Eva swiped a tear from her cheek and hung her head. He did, and he promised he'd come, but he's always getting tied up in work. She leaned back with an exhale. I feel so stupid. I should have expected nothing different from him. Andre's always late. It's just the way he is. She opened her menu and skimmed the entrees selections. I'll have the grilled salmon with broccoli slaw and iced water with lemon, right? Stefano grinned and jotted on his notepad. You know me well, Eva said with a blushing smile. The muscular 6'3" Italian waiter scribbled again. Would you like any of our appetizers while you wait? We have some tasty new crab cakes I think you'd love. No thanks, Eva replied dispiritedly. The breadsticks on the table will do for now. Stefano tucked his notepad in his back pocket of his pants. All right, I'll be right back with your drink. He placed a hand on her shoulder. Cheer up, Eva. I'm sure Andre's dorky self will come here soaked from head to toe in no time. Eva glanced at the waiter and chuckled. Thanks. She watched as Stefano left and disappeared through the French door to the kitchen. Eva closed her menu and placed it and her phone aside on the table. While waiting, she texted her husband 4 times, but he responded once. She pitched the bridge of her nose and shook her head. How could you do this, Andre? 6 times was a world record. He was running late. If he was running late, the least he could have done was tell her when he called earlier or send a message ahead of time. Instead, he left her hoping, like many times before. Perhaps Stefano was right. Maybe the weather held up Andre, or his lateness had to do with her surprise gift. She hadn't a clue of what it was, but thinking like a man, she imagined one thing: lingerie. Ever since Andrew was born, she and Andre hadn't been too intimate for a long time. They'd only talked about giving their son a sibling to play with, a thoughtful picture never put into focus. Andre's anxiety hindered their venture. Whenever Eva snuggled him and attempted to grasp his attention, he claimed he wasn't ready, panicked, and pushed her away when things got too steamy. But Andre's sad, yearning eyes and returned kisses told her differently. It hurt to watch her husband struggling with his desire because of fear of losing her in childbirth. But maybe he'd finally overcome his cold feet. Although the outcome was unknown, Eva had told him God could work everything out and allow her to have a healthy delivery. Where was Andre's faith? Seemingly her near-death experience scared him more than her. And if the worst unfolded, she imagined Andre would never forgive himself. Eva averted her eyes from the empty chair in front of her. She surveyed the other happy customers, talking and eating with family and friends. Eva listened to the clinking of silverware and relaxing jazz music sifting through the ceiling speakers. She sighed, grabbed a breadstick from the straw basket on the table, and gnawed on it. On her right, a family of 8 was having a dinner party. The birthday boy who sat in the center of attention wore a polka-dotted party hat. Based on his blue number helium balloon, he had turned 12. To Eva's left, she saw a young couple who looked like they had come from a formal dance. The man opened a small black box and proposed to the woman, who smiled, said yes, and gave him a light kiss. Disappointment wilted Eva's shoulders, crossing her arms. When she finishes her meal and goes home, she would have a word with Andre tonight about breaking promises. Here you go, Mrs. Lucas. Stefano placed a glass goblet of ice water with a lemon slice on the sugared rim of the cup in front of her. She gave a weak smile. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Your meal will be ready in about 10 minutes. Eva nodded. Okay, thanks. The waiter left again. Eva took the lemon slice off her brim, squeezed juice into water, and rattled the ice cubes in her glass. She took a sip to wash down the breadsticks she'd eaten, and put her cup down. Her cell phone vibrated to life. Eva's ears grew warm, answering without checking her caller ID. Where are you? I waited like an hour. Excuse me? An older gentleman said. Eva frowned at the unfamiliar man's voice. Wait, who is this? Ma'am, this is Captain Victor Pierce of Garden Ridge Police Department. Is something wrong? Eva's heart skipped a beat. The captain sighed. Yes, ma'am. I'm so sorry. But your husband's been in an accident. Fear clawed through Eva and ripped her resentment to shreds. Now she'd wait a century if it meant seeing Andre alive and well. Her body tensed up, pondering the mild to severe endless possibilities of her husband's condition. Thank you for informing me, he said. Is he all right? Panic skittered through her heart. Or panic skittered through her chest. I'm not sure, ma'am, the captain said. It appears he suffered a rear vehicle collision. He lost control of his car after the impact and crashed into a tree. Paramedics took him to Garden Ridge Hospital about 10 minutes ago. I'm really sorry this happened. Thank you, Eva said, and forced down a swallow. She ended the call and sat mutely amid the energetic commotion in the restaurant. She felt like she'd been transported through a fantasy portal, that her life wasn't real anymore. In 10 words, her world had turned upside down, and nothing mattered but her husband's life. Was he dead? Or had he survived the car accident? Eva took a pen from her clutch purse and wrote a note on a paper napkin. Had to leave for an emergency. Thank you for your service. She took a couple of dollars from her wallet, hid it and the note under her goblet cup, and hurried out the revolving door. And that's the end of chapter 4, which is the chapter after Andre had his car accident and she gets informed by the police. Now I'm going to fast forward to chapter 26, which is a day before she has her class reunion in the story. Chapter 26, Eva, Tuesday afternoon. Eva walked and pushed Andrew in his stroller down the sidewalk of downtown after getting off from work. She paused at a big square window of Macy's store and stuck her sunglasses in her hair, gawking at the most beautiful dress she'd ever seen on a mannequin doll. It was a long time since she'd gotten a new outfit. With her class reunion around the corner, she wanted to look her best in the presence of everyone. She pulled back the swing door and entered with the stroller to check it out. As soon as she surveyed the display of colorful clothing, hats, perfumes, and shoes, she felt herself coming alive as the woman she once was again. Easy listening music played and welcomed her from the corner speakers of the store. A short sales associate woman with cropped platinum blonde hair smiled, arranging clothes on a metal rack. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to Macy's. Thank you, Eva said, grinning. She walked around to the front window in which she looked at the orange maple leaf print dress. She glanced from the associate to the dangling price tag on the dress of the mannequin doll. Her eyes widened. $219? It was steep for clothes on a dummy. She smiled. She sighed dejectedly and released the tag from her hand. Having only a couple of bucks left in her purse, there was no way she could afford anything in the store. Besides, she needed to pick up a few more groceries and put gas in her car for her next work week. Of course, she can always charge it, right? She opened her tote purse and slipped her credit card out of her wallet. She looked up and around at the name brand clothing aisles again. Her mind spun with intriguing possibilities. Moisture blurred her vision as she pressed her card to her cheek, trying to decide what to do. Why did I come in here? I'm so naive. She wiped her tearful eye and released a long, wistful exhale. She felt sick to her stomach. Facing difficult times, she thought like her mom, but under these conditions, her mother was right. Andrew prated loudly and giggled, snatching her out of her wrestling thoughts. It hurt to walk away from a stylish dress or a pair of swanky heels, but her child's gut and her husband's disability supplies were more important than being a standout from the crowd. And like Mrs. Flower said, she had an entire store in her bedroom closet. Truth is, she didn't need a new dress anyway. She needed her husband back. Maybe she should leave for her own good. With Andrew's financial support, she had become so accustomed to getting whatever she wanted, it spoiled her. Something inside had driven her to spend $1, an intense high for approval and fashion, Maybe because she and her mother always used to pinch pennies, sacrificing desirable wants to meet essential needs. Starving artists didn't live a luxury life. I gotta get out of here. Eva put her credit card away and strode with her stroller out of the entrance. As much as she hated to admit it, sometimes what her mom said was what's best. Nonetheless, it wasn't a crime to touch and look at the dress, was it? A cool breeze washed her face. She brushed her wind-blown dark hair behind her ears and continued walking back to her parked car along the sidewalk. Although she was the moneymaker, choosing priority was key for survival. It was the same thing Andre did when he managed all their finances himself. He always looked out for her and Andy's needs first before his own, having a few suits and ties on his side of the closet compared to her variety of clothes and shoes. That alone was selfless love, a man's unselfish act for the happiness of his family. She loved and admired him so much for it. Now it was her turn. And that is the end of chapter 26. It's not a long chapter, but that is it for the chapter readings of Eva's Promise. I will have the link below for my book Eva's Promise, the books to read link, if you're interested in getting a copy. And thank you for watching.
Incontro con mio padre.